Welcome to the video solutions for day 9 of Barvember. Okay, question 1. Now, we often start these questions by just asking how many bars do I need here? And this is something that students can find a blockage with. And this is a good question in point because you look at it and you go, well, there's some blue and some yellow going on, so I need 2 bars. Or you could say, well, actually, Eva mixes some paint, so it might just be 1 bar about the paint. And we'll do this with 1 and 2 bars, and you'll see that actually, so long as you label what you're doing carefully, it shouldn't really matter. Okay, so I'll start here with 1 bar. So 1 bar, this is about the paint. Okay, so here's some blue paint. And we know the amount of the blue paint, so we put that number in our blue bar. Now our curly bracket indicates the sum or total, and we can see here in this line that we use 12 litres of paint in total. So that total clue, the curly bracket clue, is in the words of the question. And we're asked how much yellow paint does she use? So we make sure that that's where our question mark is to indicate what we need to do. So if 3 and some other number make 12, that should indicate to you we have a subtraction calculation. You can follow through the maths and check what you've done. Okay, now we'll do this now with 2 bars. Okay, so blue and yellow. We know the blue curly bracket to indicate the total. So there you go. 1 bar, 2 bars, we end up at the same place. Okay, and you could just follow the maths through and it's going to produce the same answer. Okay, question 2. How many bars? Well, looks like 2, doesn't it, for Monday and Tuesday? And in line 1, we're told we drive 120 miles in total. So I think we're expecting a curly bracket there. That's good. There's our Monday bar, don't know anything about it, but we do know that on Tuesday he travels half of that. So our Tuesday bar should not only look like half, but we can indicate on our Monday bar with a divider that clearly Tuesday is half of Monday. And so we have 3 equal parts, and that should be a really big clue for us whenever we have equal parts that we're going to have a multiplication or division problem. Let's just finish our model by putting in the last slide, how far does he travel on Monday? So we don't need to read that question anymore. Everything we want is set out here. So you follow through the maths now as to what happens with the 3 equal parts, and I think you'll find we not only do some division, but we do some multiplication as well. Okay, and if you have any problems in following through that maths, please speak to your teacher. Okay, question 3. As usual, how many bars? Okay, well, we've got a Jack, we've got an Annie, and we've got a Whitney, so I'm going to start with 3 bars here. And we don't have to write the full names, just the abbreviations will do, just the initials will do, as long as we've labelled stuff clearly. So Jack has 4 times as much. So whatever Annie's bar is, Jack is going to have a bar with 4 parts, the same as that. That's good. I've got 5 equal parts. Now Whitney has the same as Jack plus a bit. So it's going to be all these 4 bars plus 45 more. And look, we've actually labelled the 45 and we can see that it's different from the other bars. Now look, this is a really important tip for us because we see this a lot in bar modelling. Some of our bars have equal parts and we've got 9 equal parts, but we've got 1 unequal part. And so we're often finding ways to get rid of this extra part, or this unequal part rather, and often by adding or subtracting a little bit to our problem. But let's just finish the picture. So we've got 225 in total. And what we're asked is how much does Whitney have? And it really is important to do this labeling when we're reading the question, okay? So we've got the question mark in there as to what we're going to do. So everything about this problem is no longer in this boring old word problem. It's in this nice, clean, easy to understand picture. So let's go back to this tip. How are we going to get rid of this unequal part? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to get rid of it. Now, if we get rid of it, then it's no longer included in this total. So we need to remove it from there as well. And suddenly, all we have in our picture is 9 equal parts. I'll let you follow the maths through here, but just take notice at the end that we have to go back and actually calculate how much Whitney has. So this is a classic student problem that you could do all the maths correctly, but you fail to go and actually answer the question that's been asked. But we've put the question mark in our picture here, so that shouldn't happen. So here's the maths. Okay, question 4. How many bars? Well, we've got 2 trees, so I'm going to go for 2 bars, one for the blossom tree and one for the orange tree. Blossom tree, 25% taller. Now, we clearly need to recognize that 25% is 1/4, so it's 1/4 bigger. So if it's 1/4 bigger, we end up with 5 quarters. So we've got 5 equal parts. And we've got an orange tree that is 1/5 taller than it was last year. Now, I've got a tip here. Work in pencil, all right? Work in pencil because your model might change at some point later. Now, we've no idea whether our orange tree is taller, shorter, whatever, than the blossom tree. So when I do my orange tree is 1/5 taller than it was last year, I've no idea how big this bar should be. All I know is that it should be split into 5, then 6 parts because it's 1/5 bigger. So 6/5. But if we now look at the next line, the 2 trees are now the same height. So yes, it's very cleverly drawn here that these are the same height. But we didn't know that until we read line 3. If we'd just done line 2 on its own, then who knows how tall how big our orange bar would be. Okay, and so just working in pencil allows us to make a quick change to that and say, look, I've now read line 3, so I can see that the 2 trees are the same height. So we've got equal parts. Well, we've got 5 equal parts here, 6 equal parts here. Yes, they're different, but probably got some multiplication division going on. So line 4 now tells us that the tree last year was 24 feet, so we can replace last year with 24 feet. And the final line, how tall was the orange tree last year? So finally, we've got all of our words into our nice clean picture, and let's see how the maths goes. So we're going to work away from the information we've got, and the only information in this picture is the 24 feet. So what could we do with that? Well, we can see that it represents 4 parts, so let's work out what those 4 parts are. What's the next thing I can do? Well, I know that this final part is 6. So now that I've got the whole of that, I now know how big these 2 trees are, and they're both the same length. So what can I do now? Well, I know that these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts are also 30. so I can do a division calculation. And I'll let you just follow through the maths from there. Okay, so that's the end of the video solutions for day 9 of Barvember. Some interesting issues are coming up. A lot of examples where we need to work in pencil, we need to work accurately, and that maybe the number of bars isn't necessarily crucial, so long as you've labelled things clearly. So I hope you're enjoying your Barvember exercises. Use these video solutions to check your answers or to help you in completing a solution. If you still don't understand how a question is working, then please speak to your teacher.